सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। Today we'll start with Taittiriya Upanishad. Our journey with Upanishad continues. Taittiriya Upanishad, it's one of its kind. It's very unique, I would say. First, let's understand what Taittiriya Upanishad is. It is definitely one of the 10 or 11 or 12 or 13 or 108 or 256 Upanishads. One of the Mukhya Upanishads. It is taken from Krishna Yajurveda, the 7th, 8th and 9th chapter of Taittiriya Aranyaka, that is within Krishna Yajurveda. This Aranyaka, Taittiriya Aranyaka, is attributed to the pupils of Rishi Taittiri. That's why this name, Taittiriya or Taittiriya. Taittiri is the name of the Rishi that has that Taittiriya Aranyaka in Krishna Yajurveda, and this Upanishad is taken from that. So Taittiriya Upanishad, Taittiri Rishi, the name itself, if you are familiar with farms in India, there is a saying in many parts of the India that if Tittiri, that bird, in Gujarati we call it Titodi, so it lays eggs on land or lower area of the ground. So depending upon where it lays eggs, we predict how much rain it is going to have. So if that bird Titodi, if it lays eggs high above the ground, very high, that means it's going to rain with great floods. If it is on the same level as the ground in the farms, that means it's going to be famine, no rain or very little rain. So that's how farmers in India used to predict how much rain they are going to get during the rainy season, monsoon. But this name Tittiri, Tittiri is, that bird is very peculiar in a sense that all the birds they chug from anywhere, any part of the farms or any part of the lands. But especially this bird, it picks some particular areas which are not ordered or not disciplined, and then takes it from that. In a sense, this Upanishad is also like that. It is, if you look at the construction or formation of this Upanishad, it is not well constructed like other Upanishads. But there is a common thread. You can see that it is more of a documentary. This particular Upanishad, Taittiriya. Why I say documentary is because it documents how a student should behave, how a teacher should behave, how all these steps are taken, how various processes of learning should be applied, and how it takes us to the Brahma. This Upanishad is also very famous for, actually this is the first documented evidence of indexing. So when we look at any book, modern books, there is an index, preface, index, and that index tells us which sections, at what page, and all that. This Upanishad is also constructed like that. So this is the first evidence of indexing in our history. It is basically divided into 3 sections. First is Shikshavalli. Shiksha meaning education or process of gaining knowledge. So it outlines what a student should do once a student graduates, what vow he or she should take. It's like a contract between student and teacher. And this was important because back in those days, there was no written, there might be some form of writing available. If you look at Indo Saraswati Valley civilization, there used to be a written writing system. They had well formed methods, but it was on a seal or on a pot or artifacts like that. But there were no books. Maybe multiple reasons. They might not have a very efficient method to write all these verses. If we take Rigveda, 10,000 verses, how to write on a particular tablet. So it might not be very practical, and that's why there were oral traditions. So from teacher to student, how that knowledge is preserved, there were methods, and those methods must follow certain discipline, certain structure, and that structure is mentioned in Taittiriya Upanishad, that student has to take this vow that he or she will be truthful to this method of learning, will not alter anything. And that's how all our Shastras were preserved, generation by generation. So Shikshavalli is on that. Shikshavalli also talks about various lokas, Jyotish Shastra, Adhyatma. So there are many different topics kind of summarized in multiple sections of Shikshavalli. Then there is Brahmanandavalli. Brahmanandavalli talks about Panchakosha. We know our body, that physical body, then we talk about subtle body, energy body, we talk about mental body. So like that, there are 5 sections, 5 sheets, and Brahmanand talks about which are those Panchakosha and how or what are the characteristics of those koshas. Then there is Bhruguvalli, which is again a Brahma Jijnasa, the quest for Brahma. And name Bhrugu. Bhrugu is attributed to Rishi Bhrugu. So this is from the Bhrugu Rishi, is what is said. Now, very interestingly, some of the verses in this Upanishad, it's like just sound without any meaning. So if you look at Tantra, which is very modern in the sense that it started with Navnatha especially. So in that tradition, or Dattatreya maybe. So Tantra tradition talks about or teaches many various sounds, sounds without any meaning. Just utter those sounds and keep practicing. And that is sadhana in Tantra. So in this Upanishad, which is part of Krishna Yajurveda, has some of those sounds which do not have any meaning at all, but just sound. So I can say that this Upanishad or this part of Aranyaka or this part of Yajurveda is kind of precursor to Tantra Vidya. We can say that. We'll start with Shanti Mantra. Shikshavalli Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. No other Upanishad started with this, but this Upanishad it says Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. That means this is going to be a contract between student and Guru. First Anuvaka, which is again Shanti Mantra. Om Sham No Mitrah Sham Varunah Sham No Bhavatyarya Sham Na Indro Bruhaspatihi Sham No Vishnu Rurukramaha. Meaning of this is Om, may Mitra be propitious or Kalyankari to us. May Varuna be Kalyankari or propitious to us. May Aryaman be Kalyankari to us. May Indra, the Lord of all, be propitious to us. May Bruhaspati be propitious to us. May Vishnu of wide pervasiveness be propitious to us or Kalyankari. So all these deities are from Vedas. Mitra, Varuna, Aryamana, Indra, and Vishnu. And they are Adityas. Aditya meaning sons of Aditi. Aditi is Adya Shakti or Adya Mata, mother of all, or Mahamaya. And all these deities are her sons. Now, if we look at all these gods, Mitra, Mitra is the state of sun when sun rises in the east. So that sun is called Mitra. Mitra meaning friend also. So that sun is very much prescribed for sadhana. If you want to do dhyana, if you want to do any home, haman, or any auspicious activities, it is said that wake up before sun rises, get ready, and as soon as sun rises, start doing all those rituals or whatever you wanted to do, your sadhana. And that's why that particular state of sun is called Mitra. And Varuna is, it is identified as god of ocean, in especially in Purana or later Shastras. But in Rigveda, many of the places, Varuna is attributed to gravitational force. If you read those mantras, you right away say, oh, they are talking about gravity. They are talking about the attribute of God which controls gravity. So, in a sense, Varuna is the god of that force that combines everything, I would say, or that pulls everything towards it. Then there is Aryamana. Aryamana is again sun, but that sun when it is noontime. So when the sun is over our head, that sun is Aryaman because it kind of holds everything. Indra, god of all the gods. In many a sense, Indra gives power to sun. In many sense, uh, Indra and sun are synonymous. So if you look at uh, the world around us, for us, sun is the center. Sun is the root cause or cause of everything that we know, we touch, we experience. So in that sense, Indra is sun. But that entity of sun which creates its power, which generates its power, including gravitational force, including its light, including its heat, including the life giving force, whatever we consider. And Bruhaspati is guru of all the gods. So, interestingly, we call Jupiter Bruhaspati because in our universe, part of the universe, two greatest celestial bodies are Sun and uh, Bruhaspati, Jupiter. They kind of control life forces on our earth. Uh, so Bruhaspati, in a sense, teaches all the gods to behave, to act. It keeps everything in check, and that is true for all the celestial bodies around us, especially asteroid belt and everything. So Bruhaspati is guru of all the gods. Guruvara, yeah, Guruvara, yes, yes. So yeah, all uh, all the all those names of the days, they depend upon particular hora, which hora we we start sunrise. So that particular hora is attributed to that planet. So yes, Guru. Second Shanti mantra. Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Rutam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmavatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. I bow to Brahma. I do naman to Brahma. I bow to Vayu. You are Brahma incarnate or Pratyaksha, meaning Vayu is Pratyaksha Brahma. You will see that in all these Upanishads, sometimes prana is Brahma, sometimes food is Brahma, Anna, sometimes Vayu, wind is Brahma, sometimes sun is Brahma. So everything is Brahma. Here, Vayu is Brahma, Pratyaksha Brahma. I declare you are Brahma. I say what is right. I say what is the rule. So Rutam Vadishyami is Rutam is any natural law or any natural rule that governs everything. That is Ruta. So sun rises, sun gives light, sun sets. So all these follow certain patterns, certain rules, certain discipline. So that discipline is Ruta. So whatever is my Ruta, whatever is my attribute, I'll be truthful to that. This is a Shishya is doing contract with Guru that this is what I'll do. And I speak the truth. Satyam Vadishyami. Whatever I know is Satya, whatever I know is truth, I'll speak that. Protect me and protect my teacher also. Because without Guru, who is going to get the knowledge? Who is going to give the knowledge? So Guru also must be protected, and so do I. Because if I do not exist, how can I carry forward that knowledge? And protect me, protect the speaker. So whoever is speaking right now, protect him or her also, meaning protect me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is a section is Shanti Mantra as well as first Anuvaka in Shikshavalli. So first Adhyaya, first chapter. Second Anuvaka, when a Shishya starts journey of knowledge of Shiksha, the first thing he or she is taught is Varna, Akshara. This is how we study in pre-KG or KG, right? We are taught what is ABCD or K, Kh, G, G, whatever Varnamala we follow. So this is the first thing we are taught. So that's what exactly this second Anuvaka is about. Om Shiksham Vyakhyasyaamah Varnah Swarah Matra Balam Sama Santanah Ityuktah Shikshadhyayah Iti Dvitiyo Anuvakah. Om, we shall now expound upon the study of phonetics, sounds, pitch, meter, force, modulation, combinations. All this is considered the study of phonetics. This is part of Taittiriya Aranyaka, which is again part of Krishna Yajurveda. And Yajurveda is all about how to sing, how to perform Havan, how to perform a fire ceremony, a ritual. So it has to be, all the mantras has to be sung in a particular format, particular style. That means Shishya is given all this knowledge, not only Varna and Swara, not only alphabets, vowels and consonants, but how to put a pitch modulation, how to use the meter, chanda, how to force certain syllables, where to stop, punctuations and all those things. So this is like a phonetics, complete phonetics. So this is kind of uh, I would say this has the roots of our classical music. Whenever we talk about classical music, northern or meaning Hindustani or Karnataka, they all come from some other root which we do not know or which we are not aware of. So this seems like the beginning point of all that. Because if we look at Chanda, Chanda is well formed or well woven letters in a particular manner. So when we sing like that, that becomes song, and that song has to follow certain pitch and modulation and all those things. So this is exactly like how we learn classical music, Hindustani or Carnataki, whatever path you follow. So this looks like the beginning of that. And I mentioned that in Kerala there are still some areas which have preserved this method since long. We don't know. So again, they follow Guru Shishya Parampara. All the kids, they are taught right from age 8 onwards all these, whatever is mentioned here, like how to pronounce, how to speak, how to put intonations, how pitch modulation, how meter works, everything per Samagana or Yajurveda. So this is still taught. And many of those, if you listen to that, it doesn't make sense at all. A side story, some month or two back, uh, we had a visitor, a guest. Uh, there were two sisters. They are very old, meaning not too old, but uh, they are retired, and they come from area in central Saurashtra where the lions are found in Gujarat. So they are from that area. So when they grew up, uh, they they used to live in that area where the lions would roam freely. So they are called Rabari. They are from that tribe. So they say that they told me that whenever a Rabari child is of a particular stage, particular age, he or she is taught this particular song, and if you listen to that, it is Samagana. So they are still taught today in that region, and it's very interesting. If you listen to those songs of Rabari versus those songs of people in Kerala, that particular Gurukulam, it sounds the same letters, same intonation, same modulation, exactly same. It matches. So in India, many different parts of India, there are many tribes that we don't know, right? And they might have some traditions like this. They might have preserved for ages, and they all root to Vedas. We consider them tribals, right? But still, they have roots in these Vedas. They still follow those traditions. So I think they are better than us. We forgot everything, but they still do that. They still preserve it.
I think I sent a video on how to pronounce some Indian
Yes. Yes.
audio, video, like you'll see all sorts of songs on that, but
Right.
it is meant to pronounce the way.
Right. Right.
Most, I think, Vedas also are like
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
pronounced in certain meter, and that's how there are a lot of like people who try to add things into Vedas, but
Right.
people who are smart they're able to catch
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. And it's very amazing how this oral tradition, without losing even a single matra, they still preserved everything. It is very, very amazing. Yeah, that series, yes. Right. Okay. Right. Yes. Right. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we'll find some of the sounds in this Upanishad also. So I don't know how to sing like that, but at least we'll try. No, no, no. See, here's the thing. So in those times, it is said that they used to understand what a bird would say or what an animal would say. They could guess they could resemble with it. So these sounds are taken maybe from them, or they created meaning out of it. We don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of like American Indians, they have like traditions. I mean, there are a lot of stories where the Native American is able to talk to the bird.
Yes,
The bird
yes.
tells the white man is coming this way. He's able to look at the ground and see, okay, 2 hours ago a fox walked that way, and
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
the man is injured, and
Right.
they're able to just figure those things out. So they're just more closer to the nature.
Yes, yes. And everything is interconnected. So you know one thing and you have direct connection with the other things.
So even I think they would say like, oh, the fox was bitten by the bear. They can just looking at the
Wow.
gate, they can tell, right? Just by the,
Yes,
not even the
yes.
gate, they just look at the footprint.
Right, right.
So they're a little bit more close.
Yes, very interesting.
Originally, they said Rishis got the Vedas knowledge
They used to meditate and whatever they used to get or receive. Yes.
also, they say it's transferred from the previous pralayas. Before.
Actually, this uh, in Rigveda there are many mantras. They point to traditions before cataclysmic events, and they mention those events also. That means the tradition is very old, and some of them could be preserved across those pralayas. And so Rigveda definitely means all the Vedas, all the Shastras, they are from our times. But the generation or the previous cycle uh, is mentioned definitely in this. Some of the Puranas, they have clear events from previous cycles. I think I mentioned Durga Saptashati, which is part of Markandeya Purana. So it talks about Savarnik Manvantara, but that Manvantara in our time, our cycle, it is yet to come. But they are talking about it. Means they are talking about events from previous Kalpa, not our Kalpa. So very interesting. Aranya is forest. So usually in old times, the guru's ashram used to be in forest. So you go to the forest, live in that ashram and learn. So whatever is taught in that particular setup is Aranyaka. Other other vidyas like Dhanur Vidya or uh, Dhatu Shastra, Vastu Shastra, they are in a different setup. But these are, so to speak, internal journey, and that is especially suited for Aranyaka, the forest. So, well, we cannot go to forest, right, in modern times and learn all that. There are no more ashrams. Maybe there are ashrams, but we are not much aware of that. Third Anuvaka is specially about Sandhi. Sahanau Yashah Sahanau Brahma Varchasam. Yasha meaning glory. So may the glory be to us. May the glory to us. May the light of Brahma shine on both of us. Meaning Guru and Shishya. Guru does not necessarily have Brahma Jnana. It is quite possible that he or she might not have reached to that stage, but they are on that path. They are ahead of at least some Shishyas, and they can teach them, they can guide them on that path. So that's the notion of Guru, and that's why light of Brahma must be on both of them, Guru and Shishya both. अथातः संहिताया उपनिषदं व्याख्यास्यामः पंचस्वधिकरणेषु अधिलोक मधि ज्योतिष मधि विद्य मधि प्रज मध्यात्मं तामह संहिताया इत्याचक्षते अथाधिलोकं पृथिवी पूर्वरूपं द्यौरुत्तररूपम् आकाशः संधिः वायुः संधानम् इत्यधिलोकम्. The meaning of that is, now we shall expound upon the sacred conjunctions. Conjunction meaning joining of two words like Sandhi of the Upanishad in 5 sections. Sacred universe, which is Adhiloka. There are at least 3 lokas we are aware of: Prithvi Loka, uh, Dhyo, which is Akasha, and beyond. There are 3 divisions. So Dhyoho is when our atmosphere is, wherever from the Prithvi to that atmosphere, where we can find the molecules of our air, that is Dhyoho, and beyond that is uh, Paramakash. And in Puranas, there are 14 lokas. So there are more lokas, upper lokas and lower lokas. So those 14 divisions, I am not so sure about how they divided all those. Uh, but these lokas and beyond, that is Adhiloka. So beyond our galaxy, beyond our known universe. And Adhijyotisha. Now Jyoti is light, and Jyotisha is study of lights from various celestial bodies. So beyond these lights, beyond what we know as lights in our vicinity, so beyond that, sacred knowledge, Adhividya. Any Vidya is good, but Vidya that is particularly attributed to Brahma, knowing Brahma, attaining Brahma, that is Adhividya. Sacred procreation. So Prajanan. At physical level, we have many different species creating their offsprings, and that's how the evolution and uh, their their vansha continues. But beyond that, how this world is created, how these all celestial bodies are created, which are source of everything, how they are created, that is adi 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 prajanam. And adhyatma, so knowledge of atma, attaining atma sakshatkar, that is adhyatma, and that is the whole uh, goal of any of the Upanishads. And these are known as the great word unions. Well, we are talking about words and sandhi, but who are the greatest sandhis? Meaning these. So when you connect with any of these, when you connect with a loka, we talked about people living close to nature, right? We also live on this earth, but there are people who live closer to nature. So they live in Adhiloka. They have crossed the bridge. They have created the union to be with the nature. So they live in the Adhiloka, not us. So in a sense, uh, the native Indians or tribals in any part of the world, they are closer to nature, they are closer to our local. So they cross the bridge or they are on the bridge, kind of. Similarly, the Jyotish. So we know all the celestial bodies, they give light or they reflect light. But who is the source of all these lights? That is Adi Jyotisha. So whoever lives with that. Sometimes we refute the knowledge of Jyotishi, right? Because there are many different reasons or whatever their goal, maybe monetary or they just want to uh, they just want to earn money even though they don't know the full knowledge of whatever it is. That does not mean the Shastra of Jyotish is wrong, because there are still certain people who know Jyotish in its real sense, and they are kind of living in the Adi Jyotish, meaning they are on the bridge or they crossed it, and they are in the union of that particular Vidya. So they can tell us exactly what it is, but they may not, because that's how they choose to. So Adi Prajam, we all live in this beautiful world, but what created it? If we try to know that, like some of the scientists, they are on that quest. They want to understand what is life. They want to understand what is this universe. So they are kind of living in that bridge, or they are living in that union. And Adhyatma, whoever walks the path of sadhana, any yoga, especially Ashtanga yoga, whoever follows that, whoever does dhyana, any type of sadhana, puja, they are already in Adhyatma, meaning they are on that union, they are on that bridge to Atma. And now, Athadi Lokam. Now, regarding the universe, the earth is the former part, Purva Rupam. Heaven is the later part, Dyoho, which is the next part. And the sky, Akash, is the union of the two. The air is the medium, Vayu, Vayuhu Sandhanam. That is all about the sacred universe. Now they are explaining what is Adhiloka. Definition of Adhiloka is Prithvi is Purva, meaning it is the base. From there, the next one is Dyoho, which is the next, and which connects them is Akasha, meaning everything is within Akasha. Akasha is kind of joining force or joining entity. It's not a force, but an entity, and that is kind of division that we see. Prithvi, Vatavaran, and Akash. So everything is within the Akash, and this Sandhi is with the Vayu. So Vayu kind of joins these two. Which one? Purva is Prithvi, Uttara is Dyoho. So when we say all the gods live in the Swarga, heaven, that heaven is nowhere else but it's the atmosphere, which is connected via Vayu, air. So gods are not something coming in alien ships or Vimana. They are part of the natural habitat or that cocoon or that ecosystem around the earth. So natural forces. They are the gods. They live in the Swarga, heaven, which is Dyoho.
So here, Yoho you mentioned was the molecules of our atmosphere.
Right. So wherever it extends.
So the edge of our atmosphere is the edge of Yoho.
Right. So from Prithvi to that edge, we cannot define perfect boundary,
Sure.
but whatever that Vatavarana, wherever we find uh, those air molecules, that is Dyoho.
Then Akash
Is beyond that.
Beyond that space.
But space is basically even Earth, even though it is solid, it has space, right? Vayu, even though it is Vayu, air particles, there is space. So space is kind of joining a gluing force or gluing entity. So whatever is not Earth and air, that is Akasha, basically. But for us, Akasha is above, right? We always look above, and that becomes Akasha. But there is Akasha within us also. So every particle, every molecule, every atom that has space. So that space is inner space. So wherever there is no entity that has some boundary, it is Akasha.
But here they mention Dio as heaven.
Heaven. I mean, it's a literally translation, but Dyoho is Swarga or whatever you want to call it. When we say Bhur, Bhuvaha, Swaha, so Bhur Loka, Bhuvaha Loka, and Swara Loka. So Earth, uh, atmosphere, and sky or space. I would say space, not sky.
Because
So,
in our languages, Akash is sky.
yes, yes. That is literally translation, but it is space. Okay. Because for us, sky, we cannot distinguish between atmosphere and space. For us, everything above is sky. So wherever there is a light dispersion happening, that is Dyoho. And beyond that is Akasha. So Akasha and Avakasha, these are two different words. So Avakasha meaning where there is nothing, that is Avakasha. And Akasha meaning which contains everything. So it's the same thing, but slight variation, I would say.
In our language, Avakasha is opportunity.
Avakash. What is it? When you don't have anything to do. Yes, you have Avakasha, yes. Well, Sanskrit, I would say, is a very rich language. One simple word can have thousands of meanings. Basically, for us, Akasha is the joining entity, that is Sandhi, a glue, and Prithvi, which we live on, and anything beyond, that is Dyoho. Not everything, but wherever that boundary is. So, simple test is wherever the atmosphere reaches, so which can scatter light. So that is the boundary. It might not be definite boundary like Earth, but there is a boundary, so to
And
speak.
devtas live in Dyo,
In the Dyoho,
as
right?
natural force.
Natural forces, yes. Because beyond that, whatever it is, doesn't matter for us. Even though, let's say, sun rays come through the atmosphere that filter, disperses, and reaches us. So for us, the entity of sun, which is beyond that atmosphere, does not matter much. Right? For us, what matters is how that light comes in, how it affects us, how it affects the life. So that's what matters for us. So for us, everything is within that Dyoho is God. Even when the Vedas or Upanishad talk about that particular property of sun as a God for us, that is within the atmosphere, not beyond. When they talk about sun that is beyond this Dyoho, it has different properties. So maybe Brihadaranyaka Upanishad talks about it. We'll come to it.
Like Ashwini, Nakshatra, all those.
Right.
Okay.
So nakshatras, how they affect, planets, how they affect. Even physics says that, right? Everything is interconnected. Though the effect is negligible for smaller bodies or bodies at the distance, the effect is negligible, but still, it's a giant sheet. Everything is interwoven. Now they talk about or define Adhijyotisha. अथाधि ज्योतिषम अग्नि पूर्व रूपम आदित्य उत्तर रूपम आपः संधि वैदतः संधानम इत्यधि ज्योतिषम. Now regarding the sacred light, Adhi Jyotisha, Agni is the former or the base, Aditya or the sun is the later, and what not water but Apaha will define what is Apaha, is the union of the two, and lightning is the medium. That is all about the sacred light. So Adhi Jyotish starts with fire for us, Agni, whether a lamp or a havan or homam, and it extends up to sun. And how are they connected? What is the gluing factor? Apaha. Apaha in literal sense is water or liquid. But do we see liquid from fire extending up to sun? No. What we see is plasma, state of that flame. That flame, when it goes upward, that is connected to the sun via some medium, and that medium is called apaha. We do not experience that, we do not feel that, but in some of the Upanishads, it is mentioned as when the Brahmanda was created. Actually, not created, when it came into existence from the previous seed, the first matter was apaha. So everything was plasmic fluid. Everything was fluid, but in that particular format, and that is apaha. So when we light a lamp, that flame goes upward. That flame has some entity, a state of matter that extends beyond atmosphere. It connects with the sun rays, and the gluing factor is lightning. So even lightning, this is kind of a metaphor. Lightning, when we light a lamp or do homam, we do not see lightning happening, right? But lightning happens in the clouds, and that cloud is above us. So lightning is above us, but it extends from cloud to the earth, right? We know that the electrical charges from the base of the earth extends up to cloud, and that's how lightning occurs. So the Rishi is creating that imagery that lightning is the glowing force, and it sorry, lightning is the medium, not the glowing force. Glowing force is apaha, the plasmic fluid. So the medium is vidyut, that lightning. Now lightning is the medium. It We have seen that lightning comes down or from cloud to cloud. It does not go towards the sun. So how is it possible? Because it is just the medium. It does not mean that it flows in a particular direction. Even though it flows from clouds to the earth, it kind of connects the two. So that's the medium, and that's how the Agni travels to the sun. Maybe they have experienced something which we do not know yet, which our science does not know yet. Rishis might have experienced that when we do homam or light a lamp, something happens, and that something connects us with the sun. So that might be their experience, which we do not know. Now, what is Adhividya? Athadhividyam Acharyah Purvarupam Ante Vasyuttararupam Vidya Sandhihi Pravachana Sandhanam Ityadhi Vidyam. So, what is sacred knowledge or Adhividya? So, Acharya is the base, Guru is the base who teaches, and Antevasi meaning who lives in the Gurukul. Right? In modern world, what happens? The students go to the school at the start of the day, learns and comes back home. Or some lives in the hostel, but they do not live in the place where the knowledge is given. So in old Gurukula system, the Shishyas, they had to go to that particular place, usually in Aranya. That's why Aranya. So Gurukulam used to be in forest or the places like that, away from cities and towns. And so whoever go to that place and live, they are Antevasinaha. So only those are considered students or pupils, and they are Uttara Rupam, meaning who are the recipients. And knowledge is the union of the two. So the knowledge is the Sandhi, knowledge glues them. Guru gives the knowledge, Vidya, and Antevasi, the Shishya, receives it. So that is the Sandhi, gluing part. And teaching, the Pravachana, is the medium. Because how do we get the Vidya? Through some medium, and that medium is Guru speaks, Guru utters those words, and Shishya receives those. So that is the medium. Now, Adhiprajam, Athadhiprajam, Mata Purvarupam, Pitottara Prajasandhihi, Prajanana Sandhanam, Ityadhi Prajam. Regarding sacred procreation, mother is the former part of the combination, meaning base. Mother is the base, and father is the uttara part or the recipient. Progeny is the union, sandhi, and reproduction is the medium. So this is how the new life is created. So every process like that is adhiprajam. But in I forget I forgot which Upanishad, but they talk about even a simple procreation is not adhiprajam. Only if it is done as a yajna. So anything that is done or offered in that yajna and done on behalf of God, only that is a sacred yajna. Sacred, in this case, sacred procreation. So, which again we forgot doing all that. In olden times, we had to have various sanskaras, right? Garbha sanskara, Simanto. We have done, I mean, we still follow some of those, but not in its original format. So there was a reason behind it, that we always do everything on behalf of God or Brahma and for Brahma, for God. So whatever we do becomes sacred, becomes a yajna. Now Adhyatma. अथाध्यात्मम् अधरा हनुः पूर्वरूपम् उत्तरा हनुरुत्तररूपम् वाक् सन्धिः जिह्वा सन्धानम् इत्यध्यात्मम् इति मा महासंहिताः. Now what is Adhyatma? Very interestingly, regarding sacred self, the lower lip is the former part or the base. The upper lip is the later part or the recipient. Speech is the union of the two, sandhi, and tongue, jiva, is the medium. That means whatever mantras we utter, so lower lip, that is the recipient, I mean not recipient, the base, uh, the upper lip is the recipient, and the speech that is uttered, meaning the mantras, those mantras are sandhi, the gluing factor, and tongue, the jiva, because using our jiva we utter or we create those sounds. So that is the medium. Now jiva connects to the throat area. If you look at the base of the tongue, it is in the throat somewhere. That means if we can utter mantras containing all parts of jiva, so mantras go within, and going within is where reaching to Atma or doing Atma Sakshatkar is the condition. That means our mantras, when uttered, even though the sound goes out, there has to be a process to take it inward, go inside, and there are certain methods. When we say a mantra like I'm talking about Bija mantra, the chakra meditation or chakra dhyana, there are Bij mantras like Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum. So Lam is the the root chakra. When we say Lam, the Ma sound goes out. But when we say Langa, instead of Ma, do Anga. So that goes inward. So our mantra, again, I'm not telling you to do this way. This has to come from Guru Shishya Parampara or that tradition or Diksha. But this is how it is. In Tantra traditions, if the end notation is then whatever the energy is goes out. Whenever the end sound is anga, that goes inside within. So instead of lam vam, it's lung, wang, rang, yang, hung. So whatever that sound is created, even the sound goes out, but the energy of that sound goes inward. So only then the tongue is the medium that goes inside within for adhyatma, meaning we want to do atma sakshatkar. य एवमेता महासंहिता व्याख्याता वेद संधीयते प्रजया पशुभिः ब्रह्मवर्चस्सेनान्नाद्येन सुवर्गेण लोकेन इति तृतीयो अनुवाकः. He who knows the meaning of these great sandhis or word unions comes in possession of many progeny, cattle, sacred light, or Brahmavarchas, Anna, food, and also heavenly worlds. That means knowing all these or following all this or doing study or following these practices bring us everything. The worldly gains, in old times Pashu used to be our property or sign of prosperity. In modern times, gold and money and whatnot, right? So all these things can be attained following these five sandhis. and also Brahma Jnana, that is also be followed by this, and Brahma Varchas, Brahma, that light of Brahma, meaning Atma Sakshatkar, enlightenment. So that can also be attained following all this Pancha Sandhi. Now, how to do that? Maybe mentioned here or in some other Upanishads will follow that. So we can stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.